So you know that feeling when you get to Chipotle at 9:58 right before they close?
Great success.
It's probably the most accomplished I have felt in quite a while. So does this make me YouTube popular now? I try not to show this to you guys too much because I know you get bombarded with it, but a lot of people do ask me if I go to Chipotle, and I do, but I just don't see much value in showing it to you every time that I get it. So here's some living proof. Well, as you can see, I hit my macros spot on today. So I do get questions on whether or not I track macros every single day, and the answer to that is no. Today would be a perfect example of that. A lot of times when I have these strange days, like I went somewhere weird for lunch, it was just like this hole in the wall place that was good, and I could have tried to estimate and all that, but then I knew after work I was gonna go do some hood rat things with my friends, and I'm just getting back home and it's late, and I think that burrito is just gonna be the end of the food. So, or I guess it's gonna be based off how much longer I stay up and whether or not I get hungry, but a lot of people would call that intuitive eating, and I've got some opinions on intuitive eating. So I think that maybe I will make tomorrow's full day of eating revolving around that, and if not, then you guys will never see this clip. So if you're seeing this, then that's what it's gonna be. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
You'll win somehow, so give up on the battle, baby. It's hard, I know.
Good morning, guys. So my intuition is telling me that I should have an apple and a banana pre-workout along with my puffed wheat cereal, and I've been getting some questions as to how to make this stuff taste better. Well, my biggest suggestion is to use what I call poverty milk, which is essentially just protein powder mixed in with a few things if you want it. It could just be protein powder mixed in water, but make sure that it is a good tasting protein powder. So I have been loving the snickerdoodle with the puffed wheat cereal, or you could just go ahead and add some like sugar-free syrup or some other type of sweetener. I know it's not the best tasting stuff, but for the volume I think it's still worth it. So I realize that these videos are not unique. Now there's nothing that I'm really doing that you've never seen in your entire life until now, because I guarantee you that you have never seen this on a fitness channel.
Okay, this video is if your dishwasher is not draining all the way.
So I know you guys don't care about my dishwasher, but the point of that is you can really find about anything you need on YouTube, which it's such a powerful tool, right? And that's kind of why I've been trying to do some of these types of videos, like today's is intuitive eating. I know I did one on carb backloading, a little bit more informative, because when I think about my channel, I mean, you can't come here and get some really value-added information a lot of times like I just did. I went to that guy's channel and I saved tons of money, because if you have to call a service repairman, if you own a home, you know, for anything, it doesn't matter, it's going to be expensive. I mean, bare minimum $150 to $200 just for someone to come out and look at something. So the fact that I was able to fix something just by clicking on a video for free, that's pretty awesome. So hopefully I can start to make some more value-added videos here. Let me know in the comments, have I ever made a video that you guys have just taken something away from, like, you know, that is impactful, that really made a difference? Or is it just entertainment? Because I think, you know, that has its own value as well. But alright guys, so I've been messing around with this for like 35 minutes, and I don't know if I'm the only one like this, but when I just like put my mind to something, I can't not just do it all right then. You know, I know I'm hungry and I probably should come home from the gym and eat, get some food in me, but if it's on my mind, it's just, it's not going away. So I can't do anything else until I get that finished. Needless to say, we're done, so we're gonna eat. Bye-bye. So after messing around with all that, I am pretty starving. So just very quickly, I'm gonna make kind of like a poverty-style pudding here. I've been doing this a lot lately. I've been really enjoying it. So I'm gonna use the snickerdoodle protein powder, which is very sweet, which will be good for this. And we got Cool Whip, yogurt. We're gonna do, I don't know why I have both of these out. I don't need both of these. I guess they're the same. So I'll finish this one before I use this guy. And then what I want to grab is actually some pudding mix. So I'll just use the rest of this box. And that'll be about it for now. I'll get into more details about this in a second, but since we're not really weighing anything, we're kind of just gonna throw stuff in as I see fit. So this should be pretty good for now, just to hold me over, and let's see how it is. It's really good. It's almost like a junk bowl. You can kind of just throw anything in the bowl that you want, mix it together. It's never gonna be that bad. So as far as I know, at least on YouTube, intuitive eating was popularized by our one and only Josie Mai, who I embarrassingly enough asked to marry me the first time I met her at the Arnold, and of course she said no, but that's okay, I don't hold it against her. I'm sure you guys are already familiar with her. She has like 19 or 20 million Instagram followers, very popular YouTube channel. I will link it in the description just in case you have been living under a rock, but she's a very influential female and just person overall. So she brought up this intuitive eating concept. Now, the first time I heard her talk about this, I was like, alright, this is BS. So you're telling me I can just go, just eat whatever I want, anything I want, and the first thing I'm thinking is,
I just want it all. Money in the cars, right? I don't wear a tab.
well, I guess that part's a lie.
I just want it all. I just want it all.
But the problem is that I was misinterpreting what she was trying to say as to the purpose and the method of intuitive eating. And maybe I still am, but this is now my interpretation of it. So if you have never heard of this, it's essentially, well, first off, you're not tracking your macros. You're not using a food scale. You're just basing your food off of how you feel. And this was the big thing for me. This is the one thing I couldn't get over, because if you're like me, you could go eat Thanksgiving dinner, then go out for dessert, come back home, and if you see a pack of Oreos, you're still going to want to eat them because you love Oreos, but that's not what intuitive eating is from my understanding. So intuitive eating is more of just stopping when you're satisfied. So this is, I would say, my biggest complaint with intuitive eating is that you really have to be honest with yourself, and I'm not sure how many people out there can be, but that doesn't mean that you should not implement intuitive eating, because what I'm thinking is that maybe this helps you develop a healthy relationship with food. If you can just find that point where you can eat foods that you enjoy, that are quote-unquote healthy for the most part, but obviously still fitting in foods that you enjoy to eat, then maybe that will be the most beneficial down the line. Because let's face it, most people cannot track macros every single day, especially in the long term. And I know I don't plan to, even though that I do now. And the reason that I prefer to track macros is because I love the precision of it. Personally, I'm a numbers guy, I know, big surprise, and I just like that it's almost like fitting a puzzle, or it's almost like solving an equation. So that's just what I enjoy, and honestly, I don't let it take over. But what I have seen is a lot of people do let it take over, and they just cannot handle tracking macros. So maybe for those types of people, intuitive eating would be the best option for you. So today, that's what I'm going to try. I'm just going to try eating intuitively. So I know that for a lot of people this would be challenging, and maybe it's something that you have to work towards. Maybe you should start tracking macros and just get a feel for what your body needs. But like I said, it's really going to require you to be honest with yourself. So if you want to get more information on intuitive eating, I am not the person to ask. This is very new to me. I mean, I'm going to try it today, but probably going to go back to tracking macros tomorrow, just because I hate the word, but I'm very anal. I like things to the T, and I like to have control over everything. But a lot of people are the exact opposite, and the one thing I really admire about Josie is her big thing is find the balance, and I really respect that. She's kind of like me. She works a day job, and she doesn't let food get in the way of her life. So I think that if you guys aren't familiar with her, which I'm sure you are, you would get a lot of benefits out of her channel. So now, what are we going to do? Well, the first thing I'm going to go do is reply to comments, because one of the things that I don't like to do is leave you guys waiting a long time. I try to respond to comments within 24 hours of the video being released, and I'm a little bit late because I went out last night, I come home late, and then, you know, I didn't get to it. So I apologize for that. So I'm going to go reply to comments, and then more importantly, I'm going to eat, because my intuition is telling me I'm still hungry. Before we do that, I gotta mention one more thing. The people that I know that follow intuitive eating do not make the argument that it is optimal, because when you think about it, it's not, at least optimal for your progress. If you wanna make progress, whether that means gaining weight, losing weight as quickly as possible, your best option is going to be tracking to a T. But their argument is they want something that fits within their life, which I can relate with. Luckily for me, I can make fitting macros into my life very easily. So that is one thing to keep in mind. They're not saying that it's optimal. They're saying that it is sustainable, which you guys know that I'm big on. Alright, so just using some common logic, I know I need to get some fat, protein, and carbs in, so I made one of my... You guys probably just love that. I was getting impatient and didn't cook the yolk. So disgusting. Ugh. Oh well, I'm still eating it. Anyway, one of my favorite things, just an egg sandwich, and it looks like a beauty. And my intuition was correct. It's a beautiful night, it's been a productive day. What more could you ask for in life? So I am getting pretty hungry here, so what we're gonna do is eat what most people would consider clean, at least on the surface. So we're gonna have chicken, potato, and broccoli, but you guys know I can't just leave it at that. So this is probably close to 10 ounces of chicken, maybe, just eyeballing it obviously, and then I just put their leftovers in this container so I can eat it tomorrow. So we're just gonna grill that up, and then we are gonna make some potatoes. So I got some butter, gonna throw that on top of the potatoes, and that in itself makes them pretty delicious. See, what I usually try to do is either have a carbohydrate source with fat or a protein source with fat, so maybe like a steak or something, but this time I am doing a fat-free carbohydrate source essentially with a potato, and almost the same with chicken, so I decided to throw the butter on there. And then I will add a few other things that will just blow your mind. It will make the best potatoes you ever have had. So what else are we gonna do? Obviously, I'm always gonna have my black bowl full of vegetables, so that will never change. I think that's gonna be it for now. See, don't you think that intuitive eating could almost be common sense eating in essence, really? I mean, if you just use common sense, and I guess you're eating intuitively. Obviously, most people know that they shouldn't be sitting down and eating a pint of ice cream for dinner. So, maybe, I mean, like I said, it's just my interpretation of it. So let me get this food off of here, man. I'm hungry. And intuition is actually telling me I should eat this chicken on a sandwich, just because everything is always going to be better on a sandwich. These two ingredients are what I call the killer combo for potatoes, especially if you melt butter on top of them. You don't necessarily have to do that step, but it will help. But these are relatively low in calories, and you just put it on top of the potatoes, and it adds so much flavor. I know I've shown this to you guys a long time ago, but just in case you've forgotten, this is something that you'll never get sick of. So I really don't think many people would complain about eating this way, and I ended up adding some of that ranch and Parmesan to the broccoli, as well as a little bit of barbecue sauce. If you guys have been watching, you know that Parmesan has always been one of my go-tos, but I figured since I had the other two things out, might as well. Time to dig in. I'm telling you guys, this will change the way that you eat potatoes forever. So I figured while my kitchen was a mess, I might as well just go ahead and meal prep for the week. So I made up some pasta, and I only had 1 pound of ground chicken to use for 4 lunches. So for you math majors out there, that's only going to be about 4 ounces per container. So to get a little bit of extra protein, I went ahead and threw in some hard-boiled egg whites. So that's just a little tip for you guys if you just need some quick and convenient protein and cheap. Just throw that in there, and it tastes pretty good, especially once I add the sauce on top, and I'll be set for the week. So now is a time when my intuition can start to get me into trouble. I don't know about you guys, but I am always hungry at night. I'm a night eater, I don't know. And I'm always craving something sweet, so that's what we're gonna go for. I might as well take advantage of it, right? I don't have to track anything. But remember, the goal is just to eat until you're satisfied. So we'll get a few things here. Alright, so we got 2 of these chocolate muffins that are actually made with zucchini. I picked these up at Costco, and I love these things. And then we've got 1 chocolate rice cake with a serving of the Bee's Knees peanut butter. I've had almost every flavor from Peanut Butter & Company, but I've not had this one. I just tried a tablespoon of it, or a spoonful of it, and it was absolutely delicious. So I might have to have a few more depending, you know. And then we are gonna have a s'mores Pop-Tarts. So not a bad way to end the night here. Alright my friends, that's gonna do it for the night. No macros to show you, which is kinda nice. You know, I don't have to go back in the editing process and throw screenshots in the video. I'm just gonna save so much time. I'll be able to edit this thing in like 5 minutes. Alright, so could I have finished that entire jar of peanut butter and the box of muffins? Yes, I could have. But that, again, is not the purpose. So I'm very content. I will go to bed satisfied, and I'll sleep well. And that, I guess, is what it's all about, right? And I think it's an okay approach. I prefer something more objective. I like to know that I'm at least within ranges of something. So, I mean, looking back at what I ate today, I ate, you know, enough adequate protein, carbs, and fats. And I think as long as you're doing that, as long as you're, I think the biggest thing is just be conscious of what you're putting in your body. Don't obsess over food, you know? It's just food. So, that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it was informative in some way, or maybe just a little bit entertaining. Yeah, I know I make an idiot out of myself when I do these videos sometimes in those little musical skits, but hey, it's all for laughs. So, hopefully you enjoyed it. Talk to you guys next time. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch. And
He is my neighbor, Nur Sultan Tuliakbay. He is paining my assholes.
And please like the video.